Hello and welcome to the very first episode of Soil Podcast. I am your host, Sarah McDade, and today I have with me my amazing husband, Matthew,
Hello.
and we are going to be talking to you about the podcast, um, different farming techniques we use on our farm and our garden this year, and anything in between. Let's talk about first why we're doing this probably in the first case. So to give you a little bit of background of why I wanted to start this podcast, um, I of course watched the documentary. Some of you saw my video before talking about how I was so moved and touched by the podcast Kiss the Ground. And I know they have another one out right now called Common Ground, but Kiss the Ground.
Documentary,
Yeah.
not the podcast.
Oh, did I say podcast?
Yeah, you said podcast.
Oh, I meant, yeah.
As you're on podcast.
Yeah. Well, I listened to other podcasts about, but yes, no, there was the documentary video of Kiss the Ground, and it was very moving to me, very inspiring. And me personally, I had never really invested any time or thought into regenerative agriculture or even what it was and how important our soil is. And just the fact that I chose a name for our brand, we both chose it together one day that we were driving up north actually last summer and kind of piecing it all together of what we wanted. At first, it was like, oh, well, I have my scalp oil. So it was going to be like S dot oil. And then it just kind of like all formed together to be, well, why don't we just call it soil? Because it's a holistic brand and we're wanting to use plants and herbs and things grown from the soil. So that's how we started the name of that. And it just is rang true. There are a lot of things we've done, not only here on the farm, but me and my holistic scalp spa and apothecary and all of that. It's just crazy how when you go after your passion, everything starts to come together and it's like you get the aha moment. So that is a moment that I had that was like the cherry on top after I watched His the Ground. It was like, wow, this was all unfolding and I had no idea that I believe made to help with this moment, with this movement, of regenerative agriculture and homesteading, herbalism, and all the above. So that is why I feel moved to do this podcast to especially focus on Michigan and help Michiganders, farmers, homesteaders, herbalists, holistic health, nutritionists, all of that um, with this movement of taking care of our planet while it takes care of us. So Matthew has said to me several times about how he has already utilized some of the practices of regenerative farming when he has done several different farms already and things like that. So talk about some of the things that you already have been doing. Um, you know,
Yeah. So I've never done it as it relates to farming, or I'm sorry, to gardening or or like farming per se. But um, I I have tried different methods as it relates to just food plots, which is just farming, growing crops for deer, I guess you could say. So even at our old property, um, when I'm out there working hard out in the middle of the woods, probably have no idea what I'm doing. But I did. I tried different techniques. That property, the way it was laid out, it had numerous different areas, different plots, if you will. And I was able to try different techniques in different areas. The soils were different over there. Some was a lot more mucky and wet. Some of it was a lot more dry. Some of it didn't get as much sun. Some of it was a lot more shade. But I did the original rototill it all up, disc it all up just to break up the sod, break up the dirt, get a good seed bed. Just what you see every time you drive past a big cornfield or a big soybean field. So I did all that, and then I started watching a YouTube channel. The guy's name is Jeff Sturgis, and if you're any sort of hunter out there, or make food plotter or anything like that, you know the name Jeff Sturgis. And I said, well, I'm going to try some of those techniques. And so I did. And it actually worked very, very well. And so I started really getting into cover crops for different reasons, for weed suppression, but also for green manure. But I was tilling those crops into the dirt, so I'm still tilling it up and I'm ruining the soil structure. So then I did different techniques where I would plant buckwheat as a cover crop, and then I would broadcast my seed into it, and then I would roll and crimp the buckwheat, and I would break the stalk, which kills the plant, and that cover crop itself would lay down as a mat, and so now it's literally it's a weed suppressant, but it also held moisture. And I remember, I think it was about 10 to 14 days after I rolled the buckwheat, I went out there and I started pulling it apart, and I couldn't believe it. And all the little brassicas and stuff that I had planted that I wanted to come up were killing it. They were doing great. And so, for years, I've actually done that method. And I will say it is a little more difficult. You have to have some different tools and your timing, and you don't get every single bit of weed, and it's not as across the board, yeah, polished as spray, kill, till. I mean, visually, you see what you spray, you can kill it all. Um, you know, but then you get all fired up about this stuff, which instantly obviously fires me up because I love to see you excited and I love to see
And I have to,
you're passionate.
yes, and I have to say one thing. One of the things I said to him after we watched Kiss Ground and then we started watching Common Ground is the all the um facts and everything that they talk about, the like Roundup and the chemicals being sprayed and all of this. And I kept on telling him to shake my hand, shake my foot, but we were going to be done with that officially. And he made me wait a little bit because he wanted I could to see you.
It's a commitment, especially just from watching one little documentary.
Yeah.
It's a commitment, and
Yep.
um, what it took me 3 to 5 days before I decided to actually shake your hand. But we had a bet. It was an agreement. It was a couple of days. Yeah.
Yeah.
You even wrote it on the board.
Yeah.
Shake my hand.
Yes.
Um. So yeah. So
And he did.
I
He
did.
shook my hand.
I did.
And it was like he wanted to see passionate. And what I think is just like how serious and stuff. And then after I
Oh, we're not all being forgetting about it.
no, absolutely not. Then of course after I talked a little more about how Deb wanted around our kids and all the facts and on the dad,
And that's a big part of it for me is,
yeah,
before I was doing that, we were single. You and I were just married, and I was hunting deer.
yeah,
But now we had these two beautiful little babies,
Mhm.
and I'm a lot more observing,
yeah,
present over what we're doing around them, and
right,
what we're teaching them, and what they're eating and ingesting, and how we live our lives. It's just it rubs off a little bit more now. So they were also a big part of this. Yes, and Sarah.
yeah. And now you didn't give a shit about me.
No,
I have
I did it for Autumn and Harlow.
about our babies. No, but
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no. It's a all around
Yeah.
thing because
Yeah.
we do want our farm to flourish, and obviously we both love nature. I think you could say too that it touched you in a way of like you wanted to, give back so that it could give back in the way that it naturally was supposed to be done.
Yeah, I mean, I just know it's absolutely possible, especially on a small scale like
Oh, yeah.
here. It's 100% doable. It may take a little bit of. I have a lot more studying and reading to do, and asking questions and learning and observing. I mean, I've got a long way to go before I can say that we are kicking butt at regenerative,
Generative, regenerative,
regenerative, exactly. Farming.
Yes.
But
Yeah, and we're not
we-
experts,
but we-
we told that right up front.
Yeah,
People that are following our journey.
not as technique. No.
Yeah.
We've grown some big, beautiful gardens.
Yeah.
Like I'll be the first to say we do have some experience when it comes to garden.
Absolutely.
Um
This is just a whole new chapter.
yeah.
But it's exciting.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
It's fun
to
to
learn-
learn something new.
Yes, and together,
Yeah.
we're both learning it together. Like you said, we're not experts at it.
Yeah.
You may know a tiny bit more than me.
Just a smidge.
No. So he, shook my hand And we both made this kind of agreement with each other and for our land and for our babies and for their babies to come that we were going to stop, essentially poisoning it and start looking at the ways that are available that do take a little bit more hard work. But again, such is life. Like a lot of the quick, easy things we go about aren't always the best for us. So we're not afraid of some work, and
Yeah.
we definitely put some work in the garden this year. We definitely did a lot, obviously.
Both worked hard.
Yeah, and
Worked very hard.
yeah. So one of the things that we didn't do this year, of course, is till the um the side of our garden that we has been tilled a couple of times around, and that soil was already cover cropped, and so it was already still very nutritious and thriving, but we did not break those barriers and stir up anything. And instead, um we laid down
Just a mulch, so we suppress them
compost.
for
Yeah.
that. Yeah, mulch and compost, and even that. I mean, we've learned a lot.
Yeah.
You remember the mulch that we bought at the old house? It showed up, which was a whole nother story.
Yes.
Where you begin to tell that's an episode in itself.
Yeah. Love to share it.
Yeah, so we ordered some compost from um not the best source. It was the only source I had at the time.
Yes.
And just the way it was delivered,
I tried that stuff.
they showed up, the brakes blew out,
Yes, that's
and then they carefully backed it in. They hit the shed. They raised the dump box, broke the top of the roof off the shed, got stuck, had to go get a bulldozer to come pull the truck out. And then the compost didn't get hot enough and cook enough while they were making it, and it literally grew elephant grass.
Oh, wow.
Dude, it was like 10 to 12 feet tall, thick stalks. Remember this? I've never seen anything like
Yeah.
that grass in my life.
That's right.
It's not native. I've never seen anything like that. It was hilarious. We just kind of we lost the garden. I
Yeah.
mean, it was a total loss. We couldn't keep up. I remember trying to mow it, and
There were so many
yeah, it was
weeds and grasses, like,
incredible.
you know.
So we've messed with different mulches and composts, and
Yeah.
um this year we're taking the turn and we're gonna start doing our own compost. I learned a lot about composting, spending my time going back and forth out west. Um, it's not difficult to do. It just takes effort, but it's not difficult to do. We've already, luckily we have a bunch of friends who can help us in the food industry where, if they're going to be throwing away scraps, we can get scraps. We have two kids that, they'll take 2 bites of a watermelon and there it is, scrap.
Yeah.
Um, so, we're going to start making our own compost, which will be fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Bunch of different techniques to do that,
Yeah.
but ultimately it'll be nice because we did have to buy it this year.
Yeah.
We had to buy it this year, but it does come with I do ask to see the certification to see how it tested, what it was made of, make sure it's good. It's very good stuff.
Yeah.
Real good stuff. But so yeah, we're doing you can start off by calling it like a deep compost method,
Yeah.
which is a no-till method where you just start a thick layer of compost and you grow right into that instead of directly into the ground. Um, we'll see. It's our first time, honestly, first time ever doing this.
Yeah. We'll see. We got some good rain that just happened a few days ago. We're getting some heat again that's going to happen.
Yeah.
So we did notice, I mean, again, we're always going to be real with you guys and with this whole journey, obviously, because, nobody likes bullshit, and so like, and to watch, I feel like that's very important for people to see the raw, real, what happens. And, right now we're looking at a couple of our cucumber plants that aren't doing so good.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kind of go back in there and we have to replant plant, I think, at least 4 of them.
They didn't like the first night they were it got really cold the first night. But but again, if it was a perfect world, we would have planned on a different schedule. But we had so much coming up every single weekend, and especially leading up to today's Memorial Day, so it's
Yeah.
Memorial Weekend.
Yeah.
Biggest gardening weekend probably of the season is everyone's trying to get their garden in by today, and we had so much work to do that we might have forced it. We might have been a week or two ahead of when we should have, and I know night one it got cold. It didn't frost, but it was I think 38.
It was a low.
So it went from a warm greenhouse environment,
Yeah.
and we just smoked it. Put it outside, smoked it under the bright eye sky with stars. Welcome to the McDade farm. Good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah, but again, plants are tough.
Yeah.
Plants are tough. Some of them look okay, but
Some of them do look okay, but and we'll go in there again. We're gonna fix those up, and so that'll be good. And then we had so many things that we planted this year that we are experimenting with. Both with, I am want to, I will be diffusing, Lord willing, we have a good yield. Um, some of the plants to make my herbal products that I use. And again, I have a big dream with that. And Matthew, very sweet. He's my farm boy, and he loves. It's a good thing. No, it's a good thing. He loves it. He'll give you all this fun, but he loves it. This is something.
I love how hard you make me work.
Yeah.
I wouldn't change it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I love.
It's teamwork, and
I love.
their babies out there too.
Yeah.
They love to go in there, pick the strawberries.
Invented already. They got a bunch of strawberries they picked today.
Autumn and Arlo actually helped me plant the corn.
Yeah.
Autumn handed me seeds with some, and then actually Arlo came back out, and I was putting them in, and you stuff.
Yeah, I figure like that.
Yeah.
Arlo's a stuffer. He likes to stuff food,
Yeah.
trinkets. I don't know. 90% of why I do this is to see you have fun with it and to see the kids have fun with it. There's nothing better.
That's neat.
Yeah, very much. Gosh, very much. There's nothing better than seeing you take the babies outside and go pick apples off of our apple tree, our beautiful apple trees, and you guys make apple pies.
Yeah.
There's nothing better. And then when we fill buckets full of apples and they just walk around eating apples,
Yeah, I'm kids that do. They love eating.
I love
of apples.
Yeah, carving pumpkins that we grew.
We did that last year.
Yeah.
That's some of my favorite things. And then to anybody listening, like we said, we started off, with a small garden at our old house, which is learning the compost.
Remember how much produce we got from that garden?
It was
The baskets full. We used to drive around and just literally leave baskets on like 5 paper sacks on people's porches. We couldn't even eat it all. I mean, you don't need a huge space to just produce.
Yeah.
You don't.
To produce and to feel like you are making a difference too. And here if you're like I've seen some people do this. I mean, I think they talk about it more. They do talk about more than common ground, but there's a lot of people who have limited yard space, and some of them are like, well, I have more of a front yard than I do back there. I was like, dude, front yard garden.
Yeah.
Who cares? Like, do front yard garden.
You can get lost on YouTube. Just type in urban farming.
Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, it's really becoming a thing. Vertical farming, they're farming in buildings because you're going up in elevation. It's set up like, square footage across the ground. There's all sorts of ways to do it. We're blessed to have more room, ample room than we'll ever use and ever need. So that's nice. But even starting small, look up something called square foot gardening, and it teaches you what plant needs how much square feet to grow. And then you look at your square footage and you're like, oh my gosh, okay, a pepper, 1 foot, 1 square foot. Oh, this. And then you can start literally using every square foot to the best of your ability. And companion planting. What things love to grow next to each other for certain reasons. Do they keep bugs off each other? Do they put stuff in the soil that kind of help each other? There's all sorts of really simple little small methods that we've been doing for years that we just naturally do it. I mean, we go and we plant marigolds all over. We plant basil in certain corners of the garden to draw all the June bugs, which is amazing. You can
Yeah.
go over there and they're just loaded with bugs.
So they leave everything else alone, and that is something. And then there's still enough basil to mix. This basil is just like
Basil,
it is.
yeah, but
Yeah.
Anna's said delicious.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
yeah.
But there's a whole bunch of little tiny little things that you learn all the pieces of the puzzle. But that's the cool thing about this is it never ends.
Mhm.
There's no limit
Yeah.
to what we can learn out here, and
Yeah.
especially this is the first year we've got 50 fruit trees
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
back here.
Yes. Matthew planted 50,
49.
49, but one half
All at 50. Yeah.
all around us. It's all wild.
I think I saw a wild one.
About, yeah, 49 trees, fruit trees, all different varieties from pears, apples, chestnut.
Yeah, chestnut. It's crab apple.
Yeah, that go, yeah. Oh my gosh, very excited. Apple, yeah.
Well, there's 6 different varieties of apples. Some are yellow, some are red, some come early in the year, some come later in the year. Same with the chestnuts. Some are early, middle, and late season. And I know. Just wait. We won't have any chestnuts for probably 4 years. Ooh, those are 4 to 5 years. But pears, there's 3 different varieties of pears back there, early, middle, and late. And granted, I'm literally looking up there right now. I know the camera can't see it, but I can see them all. We have this beautiful hilltop, and so we can sit here and we just watch deer and turkey. And so a lot of that was for wildlife and viewing, but also to just unlock the kids to. I mean, I was telling Scott and or I think it was Heather, I was like, just wait till the fall when that thing's bumping and all the kids can come over here, pick all their pumpkins, run up there, go get all their apples, and it's literally like a little tiny exhibit. Yeah, it's like in a orchard.
It's like an actual orchard. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's not done. There's a few more things that I'm gonna be putting up there.
Yeah.
Yep, I'm gonna make a run at a nice little persimmon patch, and then I'm gonna start growing
How about you?
the pawpaw. The ooh gosh, the pawpaw tree. It's got a lot of history here. You can trace it all the way back to Native Americans. They used to eat it as a carbohydrate. It's kind of like a mango. It's like the Midwest mango. It's about that size and shape. There's so many different varieties. Every variety kind of has its own little thing, but you can make custards, pies, jams. Um, they do grow in particular areas. They're like an understory. They don't like to be out in full sun. They look really tropical. They've got like almost like a banana. When you see it, you're like, that's kind of an interesting tree.
Really?
Yeah, they're really cool. And especially we have found a bunch of Indian artifacts. So
We have, and yes, I did. I found we found, yeah, several different ones, but I found one on where we put all of our trees.
yeah,
The only arrowhead up there.
yeah, beautiful area.
And then he found one back in a
Yeah.
fruit plot that was like, how old is that thing?
Our neighbors who know everything.
They are archaeologists.
They really do. They're the Indiana Jones of today.
Yes, yeah.
They said it was I think 8,000. Yeah, it's called a high low.
Yeah.
A high low. Beautiful spearhead point. Yeah.
It's amazing. And we have, I know Nathy does too, I do too, and especially in my podcast you'll listen to, I get to talk to my amazing, beautiful, I call her my cousin. She's married to my cousin Tyler, who is dear to my heart. I'm a mom too, obviously, but yeah. They are very close to our heart. And so she is married to my cousin Tyler, call her my cousin. Sarah, and she is, Native American and has this rich history. We talk about that when
You did? Okay, good.
we on.
Good. She's already been podcasted.
She has, yes, and she is an herbalist, and they do a homesteading thing. So that episode is going to be amazing.
Yeah,
It's like-
they're living it.
They are, and and so that all that to say, like we have like I said, we love the land. We have a respect for indigenous people.
Yep.
And I just love that, and I'm learning so much.
Well, there's trees that I carved back there going on 35 years ago. So we have a ton of history already
Yeah.
on this land, and the sweat equity to just work this hard because we put a lot of effort in,
Yeah.
baby. We do. I mean, every weekend, you know, I've worked numerous times until dark.
Yeah.
Um, but it'll pay off.
Yeah.
It'll pay off when we can kick back and just
Right.
maintain.
Same time, then we're gonna be antsy. I think we're always going to find something to do.
Kickback.
Well,
Yeah, no, there'll always be more.
but this year, so a couple of things, our goals for this year, just to talk about. So number one, our greatest thing was expanding our garden.
Yeah.
Which we did. We expanded the garden. And again, to be raw and real with you guys, the part that we expanded our garden was compacted so bad. So bad because we had huge logs on there. What?
And heavy equipment.
And heavy equipment.
It's my fault.
Yeah, well, I mean, they had moved the logs and all that. Yeah, but so we had to do some clearing out, and they sat on there for a while, and then compacted by big machinery and everything. And we did a lot of we tried doing some broad forking here and there as much as we could, but one of our friends, Ben, who again is on the podcast here, always gave us some good advice, saying that sometimes to start no till, especially when it's compacted like that, you have to do a light till.
Yes, to get to no till, you must till.
Yeah. And I know that that could be very controversial. Some people are like, yeah, no, you just gotta work harder or whatever. But this,
Still, it wasn't even. They couldn't sustain life.
I mean,
it was
so bad.
It was cement. I couldn't dig through it. It was literally cement.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to break it up. I had to break it up. But I only tilled. The only stuff that I tilled was where we put all of our berries.
Oh, and our berries.
No,
Yeah.
no, just the raspberries and blackberries.
Oh, yeah. So
Everything else is the soil was fine. It was
Everything
just
else.
that stretch, the last stretch.
it was like the very end of it.
Yeah, yeah. Where I mean, I had to break it up,
Mhm.
and oh, I could tell. I mean,
There was logs. There were literally like logs in between.
but
All right, he was
for 2 days,
chunking up.
I worked hard on there.
Yeah.
Yeah, always.
So yeah.
But it needed it. It needed it, and so for here, if it's done,
Mhm.
it's back to a time. Now we can start to build this structure.
Yeah.
Yep, we can just work it carefully and let everything kind of just come back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And again, like I said before, you can see I will always do little shots and stuff here of our progress with our garden and little videos on TikTok, Instagram as well, just to show you guys our journey because we're very excited about it and we're very open and it's just fun. It's a fun community to show the realness behind it all and how we're stumbling and tripping and being back up again and figuring out all hoops. And I just find it's just fun to me. Like I never see anything as a failure. It's just like, okay, it's a problem. How are we gonna solve it? And how can and it's just fun to figure that out. And yeah,
We've learned so much since we moved to this house.
yeah.
Where it first was. Remember where it first was here in the yard? Yeah. It was,
Literally in shade.
yeah, it was that it was so somehow it was always in shade.
Remember we had a bunch of trees. That line of
Oh yeah, I
trees.
ripped them trees out.
Yeah, they were just not good.
That's right.
Yeah, we had to get
Yeah, it's in a better location right now. But yeah, and then we would put in 20 tomato plants for two people. We would get 600 pounds of tomatoes for two people.
Why do we always get so many tomatoes? Even this year, we have a lot of tomatoes.
We have 6.
I know, but
We have 6.
and we are going to learn to can.
Yeah.
One of our big things
Yeah.
is we are going to learn to can this year. We always say it, but the past like 2.5 years, 3 years, well, 4 years, I've been from it.
We've been focused on babies. We've been raising a family, not tomatoes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we have been
Yeah.
producing a lot of tomatoes.
Yeah, but it honestly got it all went to waste. I mean,
Yeah. Well, no. We
Well-
opened it to our chickens.
and our friends, I would literally come and say, "Hey, grab a sack, come on over, do some shop."
Yeah. So it didn't go to full waste or rot because we do at the end of every year, we do kind of open up once we harvested what we've harvested and taking what we take, we open up to our chickens and then we get so many eggs.
Oh, you can barely crack the shells
They
because they're
are
so
jacked.
yeah, they're
They absolutely love it.
and they love it.
Yeah.
Well, they got into the garden couple days ago.
Yeah, I know. That was a couple.
They tore up our peppers and our onions.
Yeah.
You didn't even know it.
Yeah.
I was out there till dark, putting everything back together. All they had, I could have roasted them. I was so mad. Everything's doing great. We didn't even lose an onion.
No, I know. I noticed that too. Like nothing.
Plants are resilient.
They are.
They're resilient. I know.
So yeah, so we've got a ton of vegetables. We have, trees that he planted. We have some blackberries, raspberries, sunflowers. We have potatoes that we did. I have a bunch of my my herbs.
Which herbs? Talk about your herbs.
Okay. Oh wow. So of course, with my scalp oil and my scalp scrub and a few other ones, I am going and keeping a secret that I'm going to be working with yes, I know, all require rosemary. And rosemary is such an oil, so that is definitely one of the major ones that
Your rosemary is still good.
and it's doing really good. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, it looks really good. And you just touch it and you smell it.
And you just-
Oh, it takes you to so many places. It does. It takes me to Thanksgiving, and then I go whoosh, and then I go to Christmas, and it doesn't take you on a trip.
No, well, I use it so much in my pasta. It just reminds me of healing scalps.
Okay, I'm not above rosemary.
No, not even. No, it's definitely a staple in Thanksgiving for sure.
Yeah.
It is delicious. And then speaking of that, we're also doing sage as well. Sage has just a new one, right? Sage has a lot of good and medicinal properties to it. Very good for skin care and scalp care and hair care, all of that good stuff. So, and it's very soothing as well. So those two are very good staples. Another one, calendula, which is one of my absolute favorites. So I put that in my tallow moisturizer. So it'll be in that. And then I'm going to use more of calendula for more skin and potentially some scalp stuff too. But
A lot of uses.
a lot of uses. And then there is one that I'm really excited about, new one, but first time growing it. We'll see how it goes, and I've been experimenting a little bit. Is peargrass.
Paragraphs.
That's what it's called. His
Yeah, I call it cress. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Yes. It eats your Botox.
Yeah. Well, yeah, is peargrass. So it is the natural alternative to Botox. It's newer, being scientifically proven, having all these things. Again, we'll see. Sarah, I'm very excited to experiment with it and to distill it and to
And then
have
you put it on your face.
put it on your face. And hardly with my face at all. I'm very excited.
Oh my gosh.
I'm still excited. Oh, that's enough for you there. But anyways, yeah. So that, and then
Keep going.
I'm trying to think of
I could, guys.
my head.
Marshmallow.
root.
We went out for dinner
We did.
to a place up in Fennyville called Salt of the Earth. If you haven't been there, check it out.
Cool.
They make their own homemade marshmallows, and the dessert was amazing. And I think that's kind of what you were like. Wait,
Well,
did you know you could grow marshmallow root?
yeah.
Did you know what came from that prior to that?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yeah. So,
oh.
so check your facts. But I hate them more than you think. No. So actually, marshmallow root is also a good surfactant emollient for shampoos. It's an emulsifier. It helps a lot of shampoos. Hint, hint. So I am growing them, and you can make your own homemade marshmallows, which I
The whole point of this was you're gonna make me marshmallows.
well, of course, we're gonna make some because you're both of your children, both special.
Yeah.
But then also there is some other medicinal.
I don't need shampoo.
What?
I want a s'more.
Well, we'll do that. Yes, and then we.
Chamomile.
Oh yes, chamomile.
We got a whole freaking
what we hope.
row of chamomile.
Yeah, chamomile.
Which I'm looking forward to.
I'm so looking forward to it. Not only is it amazing in tea and already soothing, and it's been around obviously for centuries and centuries. A lot.
It's my favorite tea.
Stuff, but yeah, it's amazing, and but it's also a very good skin and scalp care. It's like one of those things that I just get so geeked about, of course, in herbalism, and a lot of And like skincare and scalp care is me personally, I want to put something, on my scalp or on my face that's okay for my body to absorb and then to come into my digestive system.
It's stuff that you can ingest as well.
So yes,
So you can eat it and put it on your skin. Perfect.
yeah, exactly, and that's one of my
It's a good test.
main passions.
Yeah. Yeah. Would you eat it? It's a good test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Overall, your lemon.
Oh yes, and the lemon balm. Oh, once again, so soothing, very good for the skin, for the scalp, and for the tummy.
What is it? You grew? We did lemongrass last year.
So lemongrass is different. Obviously, it's different. It's different. Lemongrass does, have some medicinal properties to it, and it smells like lemon, and it has its own thing too. But lemon balm is way more. It's way more rich. It has all of the things that I'm looking for in to mix it in with our tea for our apothecary and skin and scalp pairing. So yeah, and yeah.
So that peppermint.
Oh yes, and then peppermint.
You got a whole big bed of We got a
Ah,
bunch of stuff out there.
we do. And then peppermint. Yeah. So we'll
Yeah.
see how those do in our
And yeah,
building.
and then we got a ton of sweet corn,
Yeah.
squashes, and then
Butternut squash.
it's too early. We didn't put pumpkins in yet, but we put pumpkins in.
But pumpkin. So Matthew is the pumpkin guy. That here.
Call me McPumpkin. There actually is a couple people that call me McPumpkin. I don't know because I sent on a picture of my pumpkins last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
So was that one guy?
yeah, it's actually
So
one guy.
so
It's one guy.
everybody.
Maybe because friends know me as my pumpkin. No.
Wow. So everybody, we need one guy. That's okay.
Yeah, that's all it takes.
Yeah. Sure. So yeah, so Matthew did Pumpkin King here. And Kaylin's I just and our kids love pumpkins. And so last year we did have a lot of really good pumpkins and the kids just were stoked about that. We were able to go in our backyard.
Do you remember the year before my battle with pumpkins?
Well, that's what
The birds.
they ended the room.
It's right.
Okay. So yeah, talk about
Okay.
this for free.
So-
you know,
I've grown a lot of different varieties of pumpkins, but 2 years ago, I was like, hey, I'm going to try to grow like the world's biggest pumpkin. So I just started shopping around and I found these seeds grown by a guy, some of the world's biggest pumpkin seeds. And I bought, I think like 10 of them. So we get them going and they start coming up and everything's great. And I look out there and there's crows. The crows are coming in and the crows are ripping them up and eating them. I mean, as soon as they come up and they're like 4 days old, boom, the crows rip around the ground. So I battled the crows. We built scarecrow. Remember, we literally built scarecrows in there. I'm not kidding you. Like we did everything. Yeah. And I used to remember I took all of our crawfish traps and I would put the traps over the pumpkins just to give them because when I'm at work I can't stop the crows. Well, one plant ended up growing, and it was going. And this pumpkin, it was going. I was taking good care of this pumpkin.
we were very excited.
It was exciting. I was going to grow the world's biggest pumpkin, and my damn dog ran out there, and for no reason went straight to the pumpkin,
Straight to that one. Nothing else.
bit it like a basketball, and ripped it off the vine and took it off. I was so mad, but I was trying not to like laugh because at the same time, like I'd been defeated.
This-
Like
He came back and he just like this look at his face. He's like, just Voodoo got my only damn pumpkin. And I could not help but laugh. Like I was heartbroken, but then at the same time I was like, oh my god.
because my buddies knew I was growing a world record pumpkin. I had to report back that LaRue ate it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year I actually ordered seeds from the same guy,
Of course.
and we have a better fence, and we got some better
Good
defenses.
deer.
Yeah. Oh my God, we grew a half acre of pumpkins,
Yeah.
and the deer would just destroy it. And same
Yeah,
with
sunflowers.
sunflowers. Yeah. How can you not though?
I know.
You know.
It was a good deer year that year.
Yeah.
And I did get a buck.
You shot a beautiful buck.
So
Yeah.
you give any
Yeah. So, but anyways,
Yeah.
so we're doing pumpkins. The usual. We're doing a lot of the usual stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, that we can actually eat.
Yeah.
But And a whole bunch of potatoes, bunch of different varieties of potatoes.
We wanted to expand our garden. We wanted to do the no-till movement, no pesticides, chemicals, everything, nothing like that. And then we wanted to learn how to can and be able to grow in our means vegetable wise, knowing what we are actually going to eat, what
Yeah.
we are actually going to can or freeze or whatever.
Just be smarter about
Yeah.
our waste.
Yes. And yeah, so I'm very excited about that. And then one of our biggest things, our biggest goals that I'm not trying to.
How long is it?
You do know what it is.
What?
It takes about 3 years.
Oh,
Yeah. Takes about 3 years to get there. And we are yet to look into the program.
no, I have.
Is it a program?
I did years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I said no thanks.
Oh, yeah. Well, here we are. And I'm saying,
Yeah, here we are.
our goal is to have an organic farm, to be able to have a certified organic farm. That is one of our biggest goals, and we'll get it right there.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a trip, a journey, learning experience, up, downs, everything. But
Yeah, I mean, I've already been wise about. I mean, I sprayed for apples yesterday or Friday,
Yeah.
2 days ago.
but
All organic spray.
all organic.
Yeah, so I'm just
Yep.
choosing wisely. I've already, I reached out to Ben.
Mhm.
I did a bunch of research online and ordered some spray that we didn't have,
Mhm.
and because we were already getting little caterpillars and little caterpillar moths on the apple trees, so time to nip it quick. So we're chipping away at it, but we have to go use the USDA office, which is a wonderful resource. If you haven't been to your local USDA office, go. Just sit down with them, schedule a sit down or walk in there and just say, well, here's who I am. What can I learn? What resources do you have? What can you help me with? And the people at our local one here, blah blah, are amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
They're
I love
really
walking.
sweet.
Yeah, I love going. Think about all the trees that we bought from them this year. No, we planted 50 white pine, 200 spruce trees,
Mhm.
or I'm sorry, 200 cedar trees,
Right.
and 50 American chestnut. And we bought it local, a couple bucks a tree. I mean, it's such a fun resource, and all sorts of information on high tunnels and hoop houses, and
Yeah.
um,
Just a great resource, a great place for you to start if you have questions or wanting to, start off and don't know where, and do they have a lot of grants and things like that?
yeah, they
Um,
connect you with government programs to help assist you get to your goals, and
Yeah.
yeah,
So it's very exciting. So that's our journey that we are going on right now. And like I said, we will be taking you along with this journey visually, on our social media. But then, through this podcast, we are going to be meeting with other farmers, herbalists, holistic wellness.
can you tell me who you've already interviewed?
Yeah, I mean, I said Sarah, my cousin who's an herbalist homesteader. They are up in Baldwin, Michigan, and just killing it. Her story is amazing. I can't wait for you guys to hear that story. She's absolutely amazing. I look up to her a lot. I've learned a lot from her, and will continue to learn a lot from her and from everybody we talked to. And then we talked to Ben Yering.
Ben Garrett.
Urine. It was close. I butchered all man. So let me cannot say his last name. But Farmer Ben,
Yeah.
and he is with Modalis Winery in Fendel, and they are one of Michigan's very first organic certified wineries, and they have amazing, amazing wine there. I am a wine owl, love it, and it knowing that what you're drinking also is like good quality stuff, like that does matter, and you can just tell it's just so good. And then they've got a beautiful, beautiful area, for that. So we'll be talking, and you'll see our talk with Ben, and he's very, very knowledgeable on
Yeah.
agriculture.
And I got some good history with Ben.
Yes, and then Matthew, of course, farmed with Ben too, and so they
I
talk
learned a
about
lot from Ben.
yeah, yeah. And then another a childhood friend of mine, Joe Poopson. He has a poultry farm here in Michigan, Joe's Farm, and he is so amazing. His story is just so great too how he started.
Mossy Valley.
Yeah, how he started off and where he's at now. And now they have a second location in Texas, which in Waco, Texas. And I just have been loving seeing his journey. And again, they do regenerative agriculture. They do the grazing method, with animals and everything. And it was really great sitting down and talking to him. So we had so many more. So many more people like to go through. Oh my goodness, yes. And then yes. All right. Oh, another big one that is literally just down the road from us that we're very excited about is Anthony Tran, and he's with the Shades of Lavender. And I got to sit down and talk to him, and he's such an amazing guy. He's so fun to talk to. He has such a passion for what he does. He has such a passion for family and just like um, you know, just a great conversation. And then he walked me through, his beautiful lavender farm and talked to me about all of the amazing ideas he has for his farm and events and things he wants to do to get people together more. And it's that's great. That one, the Shades of Lavender, is going to be released, is our second episode. It's going to be released in June. And again, these episodes are going to be monthly. And another cool thing that comes along with these episodes. So this episode that I'm sending to you is our very first episode with Matthew and I.
Yeah.
So there's not this with this one, but the very first one is going to be in June when we release our Shades of Lavender podcast interview. And they are on herbal box kits. And so what's really cool with these is each person I talk to that month is going to either contribute something that they've made or something with their business inside these boxes. And then also the boxes are going to be themed. So June is going to be lavender themed. And it will have something from Shades of Lavender in there. I'm not going to tell you everything yet that's going to be in the box, but the boxes are going to be limited for purchase, and they're going to be available only in that time, June, released of when we release the episode of Shades of Lavender. And so every episode that I do every month will also have a themed box that you can order if you want, that kind of goes along with what we're talking about that month. So it's just exciting. Just this gives you another way to feel connected to us and connected to this podcast and to what we're doing, and something kind of fun to look forward to
And learn something.
in learning. And that's the whole point of
Start simple.
Yeah.
I don't know what you can do with lavender. Start there.
There'll be education. Yeah, it's gonna be great. But we're very, very excited. So thank you so much for being here today
Yep.
and watching our journey and helping us with this amazing movement of not only regenerative agriculture, but also, farming and herbalism and getting people more involved to be self-sustainable and to show you how, it's actually really not that hard.
No, and it's real rewarding.
So
Very rewarding.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's hard work.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're doing, it's a way to burn some calories, burn some stress off. And as you know, there's nothing more peaceful than taking a coffee early in the morning and being in flip-flops and walking through your garden. It's my favorite. And just the smell, that deep smell.
Doing at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
If I just
Yep, the smell. And then I'm taking for us, our beautiful kids out there, and hearing them snap peas off and just crunching on snap beans, crunching on green beans. And it's just the most peaceful thing that you can do. Yeah. So there's just so many reasons of why you should get into this.
yeah, there is. We go on and on. Yeah. But this will not be our last episode of just Matthew and I. It might whip on here, here and there. Oh yeah.
All right.
Surprise.
I should do it like halfway through so we talk about our successes and failures.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, I think that's
We won't be us.
Yeah.
I won't BS. We'll show you. We'll show you. If there ain't shit growing, it's a fail. Which could vary. I've never grown 3/4 of that stuff. I don't know anything about it.
Me neither.
Yeah. So it'll be a learning curve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us, and stay tuned for all the amazing guests that we have on this podcast.
Cheers.